I want to talk about my thoughts on indigodisk. But first, I think you guys should know that I have a few negative things to say about it. Mostly negative. You don't have to agree, it's just my opinion at the end of the day. Spoiler warning also. Feel free to let me know how you feel in the comments after watching. Now, let's get into it. First, I'd like to say I'm really happy to see the returning Pokemon, especially the starters. But I do feel like some returning Pokemon have ridiculous limitations, like the legendaries. Why can't we shiny hunt them? Game Freak, why? I don't understand why they're shiny locked, and it's probably my biggest gripe of all. Compared to other games, this is super disappointing. We had Dynamax adventures in Sword and Shield, and I love them. While they're a bit slow, especially if you're doing them with other people, or they can be very difficult if you have NPCs that don't know what to do, we still at least had a chance to shiny hunt. I think it's ridiculous that they're shiny locked. I saw the news on Twitter and decided that I was done. I was not going to even try to catch them at that point. I don't care that much. And of course, we're going to talk about the performance as well. It's been said time and time again about base game and Paldea. I know performance has been talked about a lot since this game came out, and honestly, it has not gotten better. Sometimes I think it's even gotten worse. Now listen, I don't expect games to be perfect, but I at least expect them to be runnable. It's runnable to a degree, but what about these bad model textures and this loading? I even froze for a bit when I wasn't doing anything.
Bruh.
While I will say that the new environments are very pretty, it's very inconvenient to play this game overall, and yeah, it makes it really unenjoyable for me. And time to talk about the new mechanic where you can turn into a Pokemon and control them. While I think it's a great mechanic idea-wise, and kind of cute to see different kinds of Pokemon running around and you can control them, whatnot, you know, all the fun stuff. We can only do it in the terrarium anyway. We can't do it in Paldea. And if you find a shiny, you can't catch it as that Pokemon. You either have to kill it or return back to the trainer, and usually at that point it'll despawn. So yeah, have fun with losing all those shinies. I think turning into a Pokemon is great for meme content or just being a little silly guy and, you know, having fun with it. But other than that, I think it's kinda implemented poorly, and that's saying it lightly. Let's talk about the BBQs. So, as we all know, the BBQs are the point system in this DLC that we have to use to unlock different things, such as upgrading the terrarium so we can find the starters, which make up a good chunk of this new dex, by the way. It is incredibly grindy to do alone. It's gonna take people who don't have Nintendo Online forever to get those completed. When you have a group of people, it can be done pretty fast, depending on what quest you have, but even then, it took us quite a few hours just to get over 12k, which is exactly what you need to just upgrade terrariums. That doesn't include trainers or any other upgrades. One of the quests I hate for BBQ points, by the way, is that it requires you to take pictures of certain Pokemon, and while that's really simple, you cannot do that when you're riding Koraidon or Miraidon. So you have to get off of him, take a picture, which by the way, menu lag is horrible, the game is not that optimized, and then get back on Koraidon and do whatever else you're doing. I just think it's inconvenient, and I personally hate that one. Also, I don't know if it's just me, but like the outfit menu, it is more laggy than ever. It's really bad, but like, I think this made it worse. I don't know how. The new outfits are just, they're great. I'd rather wear them, but opening that menu by accident is actually painful. And once you complete the story, you know that you can find the Stellar Terra type. But you can only find it in the terrarium, so that means getting the Stellar Terra type is very limiting on what Pokemon you can have it on. That is, disappointing to say the least. I do want to talk about the story. So I felt that the story itself was very good. I love Drayden, he is my boy, he's just a good child, he wants everyone to have fun. But I will say that the story feels really short in comparison to everything, and it kind of leaves some open-ended questions, and I'm a little confused. I will say the good part about the story is the battles. The Elite Four were actually really challenging. Double battles are a lot of fun, my favorite type of format, and their Pokemon were really well optimized for battling, so I definitely had a hard time. As far as everything else in the story, I didn't really care for it that much. I feel like everything with Terapagos made sense as far as Kieran went, but Briar was super sus, and we never really learned anything more about her. It just became a, oops, I got ahead of myself and I was selfish, sorry guys, and that was the lesson we learned. I wanted her to be more sinister, and it kind of fell flat. And going into Area 0 felt really out of place. Suddenly we had to go there, and then we had to battle these terrestrialized Pokemon, and yeah, it just kind of felt like more of a chore at the end than anything else. Alright, and let's talk about Parent Quest and the exclusive Pokemon. I really don't like how they worked with the exclusives in this. If you don't already know, we get 2 more Paradox Pokemon that are exclusive to each game. While that would be all well and good, in order to get to this DLC, you also have to do the Kitakami DLC, and that is just such a time slug for people that want to get both Pokemon in one game. It's either touch trading or you own both copies and you gotta put in a lot of more hours to get there. I did talk to Cal a little bit and he said that he thought that they might be coming out in raids in the future, which would be nice, but I'm not going to hold my breath on that. Alright, ready. So positives. We got flying. So you have to beat the story in order to get it permanently. But once you beat the story, you can fly on Koraidon or Miraidon. I think it's a pretty good feature. I think it goes quite fast, which obviously we want, but I'm also scared of a shiny despawning, so I don't use it that often. Also, motion sickness. Yeah, it's a good feature, but again, in this game, I don't think it bodes well, at least for someone like me. I like it, I just can't get that much use out of it without being scared of losing a shiny or getting really sick to my stomach, so that's my own personal issue with that. All in all though, I did have fun playing Indigodisk for the first time. It was as it went on that I started to feel a bit more let down, and that's how I felt overall about playing Scarlet and Violet, so I think it tracks. It's good DLC, I think it's worth the price, but I think it should have been a little bit more. It's just doing like the bare minimum for what you pay in my opinion, and the game wasn't even optimized. So I'm hoping for whatever game we get next, or DLC even if we get any more, that at least we get better frame rate or better model textures and loading, all that fun stuff. That's all I ask for, honestly. And maybe a better raid system too. I mean, it was good. It was good DLC, but if I had to play through this again, politely decline. I think this would be a good send-off for Scarlet and Violet, along with some nice raids that they could do, and then they can put their time into making a new game. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments, and please remember to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys later. Bye!